it going, guys? Oh, it's not.
Good.
It's not live for me yet. What the fuck? Did you lie to me, Ian?
No.
No, I think it's live.
You think it's live?
I think. Maybe.
Maybe live?
Maybe live? I don't know. Can you tell
Kind of live.
people in the chat? Can you tell us if we're? Oh, there we go. All right,
Maybe?
we live.
That's a yes?
Maybe, yes. Boy, there was a delay on that.
I think
boy,
it missed
was
the
there.
intro.
Did it
All
miss
right.
the intro? It can't have missed the intro. I waited
haven't-
5 seconds for that.
Just okay, well look, let's be safe. Hey everybody!
Hey!
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Who is this
Welcome
alien voice?
to the Talks of RWBY. Or RWBY Talk. It's a pretty self-explanatory name. We talk about all things RWBY. And yeah, we got some people with us today. Hi, I'm Brian. I voice Neptune in RWBY Abridged. I'm also the head of the audio department for KRWBY Productions, and I do some writing things here and there. Who else we got?
My name is Ian. My name is irrelevant and too short to be written on paper. I am an admin for the KRWBY Discord server. Hey, nice to see you guys. And I help keep this podcast going every week so that we can meet here and not look like a hot mess. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait, that's every week.
Who else we got?
I am also here, the other guy on this podcast thing. This is what I do for the channel.
His name is Forrest.
It does.
He
I do have a
this
name.
podcast.
But
And he's, for whatever reason, still doesn't says his name on the podcast every week.
I
and
know.
have to
We
say it
always
for him.
have to say his name every
it's
time.
kind of my thing, guys. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Who else we got?
All right, what's up, guys? Beau here. You guys know me as Winter and Ilya for RWBY Bridge / KRWBY Productions. I'm also the lead director / head of the VR short department, and also one of the lead writers for that as well. And I'm also one of the hosts of Perpetually Ajar, our podcast, also hosted by Katie Connie Day Johnson.
Hell yeah. And today we have a very special guest from outside KRWBY Productions. How the hell did that happen? We got the one and only YamatoSFX, everybody.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Who is this
Yamato,
intruder?
tell the
Give
good
him my
people what you do.
Oh, I work for Something Witty Entertainment. We make a show called Sword Art Online Abridged, and more recently, My Hero Academia Abridged. And I edit and write for those shows. I do some effects for My Hero, but primarily just write for that one. And play Kirito and Deku.
Hell yeah.
Woo.
Got a big list of things.
Brian, are you doing okay?
Am I doing okay? Why would I not be doing okay? I'm totally fine. I
Because
was
you
totally
wanted my
on
gay
the ball this
wanted my
week.
gay
I wasn't late at all. I did not have to watch the episode at 2 times speed.
And you wanted
Right
my
before
gay
this
notes.
podcast.
Absolutely. Everything's fine.
Nothing to see here, folks.
And also, thank you, Ian, for totally throwing me under the bus by telling
yeah.
the audience that I'm late as fuck and also wants Beau's gay notes.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no shame.
No, you have no. No, it's not that you have no shame. There's no shame involved for you. You have no people in giving other people shame. That's what. That's your thing. You sick fuck.
Hey, Brian,
All right.
how long have I known you? 20 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Uh-huh, yeah.
All right, but yes, welcome everybody. Tonight we are talking about RWBY Volume 7, Chapter 4, Pomp and Circumstance, aka, if you've ever been in band, the worst song ever.
I'm having flashbacks. I'm having
The
flashbacks.
longest song you'll ever play.
Man, I have flashbacks to high school graduation, like from freshman year. Every year at graduation, you'd go and play that song, and you'd have to repeat it over and over and over again until everybody got on the stage. It was so tiring.
There's a lot of other. They could play any other song. Why is it always that one? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't care. My lips are still in pain. I still remember the day. I only did it 1 year. Brian, you skipped ahead, and you did for all 4. What is wrong with you?
It was not great. It was not great. But yeah, so this one, this episode was not what I asked for last week. Recall last week I was like, I want to get back to the plot and be done with the setup. We got more setup this week, but that's okay. It was cool setup.
We got a lot of setup.
Filler.
Yeah,
and we did get some villains. We were thinking they were going to be, let's catch up with our villains and see what their, maybe more of what their plan is. We did get that, so
yeah.
We got more of our villains, but just not the villains I was expecting. We got
Yeah,
Papa
I'm
Schnee
big
and
sad.
Shipley.
I'm big sad that Cinder didn't come back. I was real sure
right?
that she was gonna come back. So
no Cinder Neo yet, but
I want that.
One
I
day.
want that good Cinder Neo dynamic. That's the new word.
yep.
Dynamic pentameter.
Welcome to Ruby Talk, where every week Brian has a stroke at some point.
Yeah. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about that I noticed is, who is that lamb wife?
Oh my god.
I knew it was
Beau, you
coming.
called it.
That was gonna be my first question. Like, who the heck are these guys?
I definitely called that. I was like, Tulien says that Brian says Lamb Girl is new waifu.
I'm surprised I haven't seen dishwasher all over that shit. Like, man, because he was all over that one background waifu, like in
Gamble.
episode 1.
Gamble says she's our new bae.
Oh,
no.
my
Oh.
God. I knew the puns would come.
No. What
I
have
said,
we done?
I said, oh, she's over kind of by herself, so I guess she's on the lamb.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
Man, oh man. But yeah, so these definitely feel like actual characters though.
Mhm.
Like the character models are too good.
Yeah, I think they're part of the
Yeah.
Happy Huntresses.
Yeah, that was
Ooh, that'd
my
be cool.
thinking too. I think this is Robin's crew.
That would
Do they
definitely
have-
explain a lot.
They have a little
Yeah.
symbol. The lamb girl has like a little bird symbol on her vest. Is that? Do
Which
we know
is-
what the symbol for the huntresses is?
It is if you've seen the preview image for next week's episode.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers.
Oh, speaking of spoilers, if you haven't seen RWBY Volume 7 Chapter 4, which is currently only available for first members, it will be available for free next week, and you care about spoilers, because that's what we're talking about.
Gonna spoil the whole thing.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. We're going to have spoilers on this podcast.
the whole kebab, the whole shebang,
The
the
whole
whole
kit and
9
caboodle?
yards, the whole kit
Yup.
and caboodle.
Yeah.
All of those random things.
So
Yep.
my question that I'll pose to y'all is, because it seems very likely that these are the Happy Huntresses, right? Why do you think they're there? What are they doing?
I mean, I don't know.
Seems like they're gathering some kind of information.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but
Hmm.
but why? I mean, is this spying on a political rival?
Maybe
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
Is
political.
this illegal investigations?
I think we are steering way too close to reality. Let's just take a left turn into fantasy.
Well,
And I'm going to
okay,
say
okay.
no. I don't think it's like illegal information gathering. I'm going to say that maybe they heard something shady was going on over here, and they may have come to check it out.
I don't know. This
I mean,
is
there
a
is a giant
militarized
floating
zone.
coliseum. So,
There is a giant floating coliseum in the sky.
kind of hard to miss.
Yeah, they might have been like tracking the Coliseum because I don't imagine it would be. It's like a blimp. It's like you don't lose sight of it. Like,
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
was built to be seen.
yeah, exactly.
This is very true.
And especially
So-
at that altitude, you'd have to be blind to miss it.
Yeah.
and it makes me, because we go into this a little bit later in the episode, right? But it seems as though some dirt is being dumped on Ironwood's desk a little bit,
Yeah.
and maybe some people are suspicious of what Ironwood is up to. Well, you'd think the Huntresses might be interested in that. Maybe he's, they're worried he's in cahoots with, Jacques or something to mess things up.
Yeah. I
So-
think that might be
So they're-
that might be what it is. Although I do think like I know it's kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but Jean actually kind of points it out to Ironwood where with his like savage remark of like, well, maybe if somebody didn't impose a dust embargo, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Yeah.
Savage, but also true.
Yeah. Then like Ironwood just like stares at Jean and he's like, sir.
Sir.
No, like I think that it's definitely suspicious activity for sure, because like all of a sudden, like, because when Jacques shows up, he points out that like he didn't need clearance from the council to do this. Like it was a military operation. The military essentially seized control of this dust mine.
There's some eminent domain going on here a little bit, it seems.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's definitely some interesting things going on, and I definitely have predictions regarding the next episode because of this, but we'll get to that later. The next big thing that I thought was really interesting is the fact that the Aesops aren't friends.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
really
They
concerns
make a big
me.
point of that.
Yeah.
It's like you would think that, especially if you like know our military today, like when you serve together, which is very similar to their current situation, like you become very close, and the fact that they are very specifically keeping each other at arm's length is very concerning for me, almost to the point of a death flag, a pretty big one.
Yeah, there's
I mean,
definitely,
they're not main characters, so.
there's definitely, the concept of brothers in arms, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
there's also the theory that's kind of bounced around of so they're the Aesops. They're based off of the Aesop's fables, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
One of the Aesop's fables is the scorpion and the frog. There's been a theory bouncing around that Tyrion might have been an Aesop previously. And that something because if you look at his like white outfit underneath his jacket, it's very similar to like how Vine's outfit is. It looks kind of like the Aesop's if like the colors had been removed. Like if he had ripped all of like the identifying colors off of it.
Oh,
And so I'm
dear.
wondering if maybe either him or someone else, maybe there might have been something that happened in the past where they were all friends and they were betrayed because they let their guard down around each other. And so that's why they hold each other at arm's distance now.
That can make a lot of sense.
That's a lot deeper than I was going to go. I was going to be like, well, they're different to Beacon. Beacon has friend groups, and they have military groups that are not friends. But
That is fair.
They
I
are
like
cold
that
like
better.
winter.
That's
I
a
was-
lot better than anything I could come up with. That's for sure.
I was so see my thinking was this is a cultural thing of Atlas, because remember when the Great War happened, it was Atlas that was trying to suppress like all forms of art and expression and that kind of thing. So I like my thinking is this is kind of like held over where it's like you have a job to do, you want to keep emotion out of it because you could lose somebody at any moment and you can't let that hinder your ability to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of how I interpreted it, and you can definitely see like in the way Team RWBY and Team Juniper react. They're like, wait a minute, like that, no, we don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
And they kind of get brushed off because like the fact that they are quote unquote friends, the Aesops kind of seem to brush off as like, oh, they're just kids.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I
they
mean,
don't-
they are younger, I think, than the Aesops.
oh, considerably. And so
So-
they kind of brush it off as like, oh, they're kids, they don't understand the way the world works yet. And
Mm-hmm.
I think my interpretation was that it's the Aesops not understanding that they just have a different culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it's interesting because it kind of goes back to that whole cultural thing is that, you know, Atlas is very much like these are your squad mates. You know, these are like you're part of the military together, but like you need to keep things professional and keep things like tight but not friendly. Whereas at Beacon really kind of emphasized the whole like get to know each other, know who it is on your team. You know,
Yeah.
gain that level of trust, because like it kind of it's something that I reference all the time, and it's the difference between, you know, like people like Team RWBY and the ASOPs is, who would you rather have on your team? Someone who was ordered to work with you, or someone who actively wants to work with you? Like, and that's really the difference between the ASOPs and Team RWBY, is that it's like they're essentially, they've been put together, like, yeah, sure, their semblances go well together, and they seem to be really good at following orders and like staying in line, but what happens when something becomes personal? How are they going to clash like that? Whereas people like Team RWBY, yeah, they have disagreements and whatnot, but because they're friends, they know they can talk it through and work it out. I don't think that the clashing would necessarily be as impactful as it would be for the ASOPs.
No,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough.
I suppose that's true. Although, I mean, I will point out that like Team RWBY was initially ordered to work together.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
But I think,
and that did initially cause problems, because back in Volume 1, Weiss is like, I should be team leader.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
also, I don't like Faunus.
Yeah. Also, I'm racist.
Also, I'm racist as fuck.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, remember, throwback to when Weiss was a racist.
I mean, that
What
kind of.
different times?
I mean, that kind of melted away like pretty early. Let's be real.
The simpler times. Magic wasn't a thing. People were just being racist.
Yep.
But well, Ozzy is trending and it gives me life. Oh my god.
Oh god.
But yeah, so I also think it's funny that after they finish this mission, Ruby's like, let's do more, like go fight more things, and they're like, Ruby, calm down.
Well, she's like, let's go explore. Let's go on a tourist. Can we see all of Atlas? Let's go to the let's go explore the school. Like, you know, she's ready for adventure.
Yeah.
I like my note for that one. Let Ruby explore, goddammit. Just in all caps.
Just let her have this.
Yeah, let her enjoy her childhood.
This going back to the KRWBY motto of hashtag let Ruby say fuck.
Yeah, right.
That's the official motto. Yes.
Yes. That and throw down in a Denny's parking lot.
Yep, absolutely.
When did that motto come up? Was that ALA?
Throw down in a Denny's parking lot.
Yeah.
That's a meme where it's just like, catch me fighting my ex in, you know, in a dimly lit Denny's parking lot or something like that.
Oh, and we've
I know that
commandeered it.
I know that Faunus perpetuated that meme amongst KRWBY because she like references it all the time.
Although I think we all know that the most perpetuated meme in KRWBY is you ain't got no nipples.
Yep, that's fair.
Fair enough.
Um,
Speaking of Brian, you ain't got no nipples.
Oh, burned.
Wow.
Do I want to know the context of this meme?
There is no context.
I mean, the original joke is by Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
But it's
No,
like,
we-
oh, she said you ain't got no nipples.
to provide a little bit of context for the audience. So last night we had like a watch party where we were all hanging out, including with Yamato, and like afterwards we were just hanging out and chatting, and we got to talking about some weird shit, and like most of the time,
God.
like it just was like Yamato like hanging off in the back, like, what have I gotten myself into?
I made a mistake.
Mistakes were made. Abort.
I need to leave.
But
But anyways.
but yeah, so Then, let's see. Oh, they bring up the fact that now we have confirmation that Ironwood is aware that opposition is being taken out in Mantle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I died last episode, though. By the way,
Yup.
or 2 episodes. Was it 2 episodes ago? I don't remember.
No, it was last episode. Rip Mr. Incarcerated.
Specifically people that are speaking out against Ironwood. So it seems
Yeah.
like they're framing him in the sense of making it look like he's taking out people that are speaking out against
Yeah,
him.
they're making him seem like a
Mhm.
brutal dictator.
And you know what?
Mhm.
It's working. To quote him personally.
Yup.
Mhm.
Yeah. Although plastering his face all over Mantle with adverts of "I'm trying to keep you safe," no, really, is probably not helping.
Yeah.
Don't worry, everybody. It's for your own good.
Yes, he says that a lot.
Yup.
It's like you're saying, I'm gonna punch you, but you're gonna like the fact I'm gonna punch you. It's good for you. It'll make you stronger. Why punch?
And then it also probably doesn't help that, like Winter's little announcement is like a reminder, failure to cooperate with that is a punishable offense. It's like, okay, cool.
Not to put
Yeah.
too fine a point on it, but
Here's my question: Has Ironwood never heard of a party in his life? Because
Like a
he's trying to.
political party?
Tay?
Yeah, the reason being, like, you want to keep the people happy, right? Like, have some celebrations.
Well,
Yeah.
so technically, so technically, Atlas is governed. I don't know enough government speak. It's governed by a council.
It is governed by a council.
So I guess because the council is elected, it is democratic.
It is democratic, but he holds a great deal of sway.
He holds 2 seats and also controls all of the military.
And the school, which is responsible for most of their technological development and R&D, and
Yeah, he has quite a number of cards.
He's kind of low key a bit of a dictator, kind of, sort of.
If he were to abuse it, sure, he would be.
Wasn't that kind of what he's doing? Like,
Not
with his 2 seats on the council, he imposed that dust embargo.
Yeah, but he's not doing it to be like, haha, I'm going to rule this place with an iron fist. He is preparing it for a plan.
Right,
like
but of course
that...
the people don't know that.
No,
Mhm.
so it might appear that he is a dictator because he is the face and the person making this stuff happen. But the council is, or at least so far as I am aware, for the most part, down with the actions he has so far taken.
Mm-hmm.
And if they
right.
had a
Although
problem,
we
they
don't
would have
know.
taken action to stop him by now.
Well, we don't know how many of the people on the council are his buddies from like old military days or something. Like we haven't really seen the Atlesian council before, so
Mhm.
who knows? They could all be in his pocket, as it were. I mean, then rule with an iron fist for a good purpose and rule with an iron fist for a bad purpose kind of have the same effect.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I would just... I think that there's a very distinguishing line between your average everyday dictator, which we can cite with several real-life examples, which we're not, because politics ain't our thing,
Yeah.
in
Not
comparison
gonna
to
get into.
Ironwood. Like, there are a number of key differences for Ironwood. It's like, it's not like he does not believe in the process. He just has
Yeah.
the authority at the moment to do what he likes.
Right.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, people don't see that though. He's not on television being like, yo guys, I got a plan. Don't worry about this. I'll explain everything. It's just like, let me be a little bit of a dictator for a bit, you know? Like,
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of context for people to go off of
Yeah.
other than he's just being a dick.
His
and he's
argument
being
is, trust me.
yeah.
Which rarely ends well.
Yeah, that's fair. But we are gearing up to the point where that will no longer be the case. Or at least, should
Supposedly.
things go right. Which they won't.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
so-
obviously
but
they're going to try and hack
the-
the big satellite thing they're putting in orbit.
But the big thing that the point I'm driving at here is, shouldn't he have like the ability to say, hey, all of our people are severely depressed and angry, which is going to attract Grim? Should we just like throw a party and help assuage these for a little while so that, you know, we can stave off the Grim a bit longer? It may be a bit expensive, but a little bit of cheer might scare them off for like a week. or a
Where's he
month,
gonna
or who
get?
knows?
Where is he gonna get the money though? Like, it's
Yeah.
like
I mean, he's
like
got
that.
money though. The
Well,
the
you know
nation
who
of
has
Atlas is
money?
not poor.
You know who has money? Jacques, but Jacques is not his best friend right now because he imposed the dust embargo.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jacques, guess who shows up?
This is Jacques
Jacques?
ass.
Papa Schnee.
Yup.
What a shock.
Oh my
Sorry.
Oh,
god.
I'm dead. I must be
I
dead.
figured it was my turn.
This is hell.
You've killed him. You've killed him.
But yeah, so Jacques comes back, he confronts Ironwood, and then he sees that Weiss is there.
Ugh.
But he like notices offhand. Like he goes on for a long while before he even notices she's there.
Mm-hmm. He's
Well,
like,
bet.
oh, I didn't recognize you with that ponytail. I never knew you had that much hair.
He's just like, what the fuck
Fair.
are you wearing, Weiss?
It's called extensions.
Weiss doesn't need them, okay?
I mean, fair enough, but still.
I mean, Weiss is still wearing a combat skirt, right? But it's like long now.
I think
Yeah.
it's more a combat dress now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of too long to be a
skirt.
yeah.
This is fair.
Mhm.
But yeah, so my question that I will pose to y'all is
Yes, Weiss is best girl.
Agreed.
You already knew this, though.
we knew this information, although I'm partial to Lamb Girl.
Oh my god.
Yes, we already established.
Agreed. Lamb girl is best girl.
No.
What have we done?
So my question that I want to pose to y'all is, this was obviously a big moment. Like, since the beginning of the season, we've been talking about what's going to happen when Jacques finds out that Weiss is back in Atlas. And so I kind of want to get your reactions. What did you think of this? Did it go down the way you thought it was going to? Did it go down differently? Were you happy with it? Were you like, no, this is not the way I wanted this to go down? Bad, Rooster Teeth. What are you thinking?
Man, great opinions, guys.
Oh
I
yeah.
was trying to be courteous and not talk over everybody, but nobody's talking. So I'm just gonna talk over everybody anyway.
Cool.
Weiss, slap him!
So,
I think
so
she's better than that. Because
First
that's
with
what
the
you do.
backhand, then with the forehand.
it needed more slapping, is what you're saying. This
Yes.
scene.
1-800,
More
are you slapping?
Needs 100% more slapping. Okay, Forrest?
I think it's interesting because it happened with the whole team there and with Ironwood there, right? Like this would have been, I think, a very different conversation if she had just been by herself.
Mhm.
But she's got the support of her team there, right? There's this great. We were talking last episode about, we always see like RWBY and Weiss and Blake and Yang doing the thing, but this time we see, some Blake and Weiss, and Blake's like holding her hand, being like, "Hey, it's okay. Your friends are here."
Yeah.
That
And
was
then
like
the
that was a very
monochrome
wholesome
shippers go
moment.
wild.
Man, my heart grew 3 sizes.
Your heart hurt.
What
My
are you,
heart-
the
my-
Grinch?
My Kokoro got brokero.
Oh man. So, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I personally really loved this whole moment. I'm really, I was really worried about when it would come down to this like confrontation where he did, find out that Weiss was there, and I kind of like that he didn't like find out that Weiss was there and then come after her, that it didn't really give him a chance to be like, oh, I'm gonna make her pay, and like seethe and then go after her. Like, it was in the moment that he found out she was there, so he kind of just reacted on instinct. I like that he didn't have a chance to really like plan for his whole gaslighting bullshit.
So we see him
Yeah.
going from mad at Ironwood to confused to mad again to like.
Exactly. Like, we got to see kind of how he dealt with it like initially, which was, I thought was really interesting. I'm kind of glad that they went that route. But I really like that, up until this moment, Weiss has kind of been really implying that she's obviously dreading coming across her dad.
Right.
Like what if they take me back? What if I get ransomed back to my father? Like, like all of this like fear of coming back in contact with him. And when the moment came, she didn't choke. She didn't freeze. She stepped up and she was like, "No, like I came here of my own accord, I know exactly like that was I love that moment where he was just like, if I were, I can't remember what he says, but she says, I know exactly the kind of man you are."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then she has the moment where Jacques is like, I have half a mind to, and then Ironwood just slides in like, my
Yeah,
daughter now.
Iron Daddy's just like,
Yeah. And
That's two he's taken now for his military.
yeah, and just this whole exchange and like seeing Blake be the one, like, and Weiss deliberately, she steps up, like she leaves the
Mhm.
rest of the team behind to step up and face her dad. And then
Mhm.
when she starts faltering, Blake is the one to really notice it, because she's used to being gaslit by someone, she's used to being abused by someone. And so
Yeah.
it meant a
Yeah.
lot to me that Blake was the one that stepped up and gave her that initial support. And then, of course, Ruby and Yang were right behind her.
Mhm.
The shoulder,
And-
the shoulder hug from Ruby. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I just, it was better than what I had hoped for, to be completely honest. Like, I really was happy with that.
I
whole
mean,
thing.
you've got 4 high level trained huntresses that just like step up there and they're just like, "What you gonna do, huh? What you gonna do?"
Yeah. What does Jacques do? He like
Like-
sneers at things.
Mhm.
Like,
That's his power. That's his
Well,
semblance.
no, he doesn't sneer at them. He sneers at them, and then he throws money at the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that his semblance?
Yeah. Watch his semblances to spend money to gain power.
Yeah, but then the last like 2 small things is the fact that Jacques then realizes that he, like, his influence of Weiss isn't as strong as it used to be, so he switches and turns into the gaslighting asshole that he is, and
Mhm.
starts talking about Mama Schnee. And that
Yeah.
really seems
Oof.
to get to Weiss, which interested me because we've never really she had kind of a sad moment when Whitley had the whole like, oh yeah, I think she's drinking in the garden already,
Mhm.
like, and she kind of looked disappointed. But like, to see how much hearing about her mom really affected her makes me really hyped to see actually see her interact with Mama Schnee potentially.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
was
hope so.
definitely a big thing for me because like I had been thinking a lot about how this scene was going to go down,
Mhm.
and I expected it to go down like, man, like you should come home, you're coming home with me right now, young lady, and all of this kind of bullshit, and that wasn't really what he did. He was just pissed at her and he was trying to exert his influence over her. And
Mhm.
then, like you said, when that didn't work, he shifted to something that he knew would get to her.
Yeah.
And it did
Yeah.
get to her.
hmm
Yeah.
And that was like, and I, to be perfectly honest, I think this scene went down so much better than I could have ever imagined.
Absolutely.
What about you, Izzy? What do you think?
I don't know. I think you guys covered most of the points. I think it was really good. I think this scene would have been very different, like a couple seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it seemed like she's grown pretty strong, and I don't know. Maybe he sowed some seeds for later things with that stuff about her mom.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Mhm.
I would say an interesting thing that I didn't notice the first time I watched through, but heard it the second time, is that Jacques says, "I wanted to thank you for personally handing me the noose to hang you."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
a
a
pretty
really
brutal line right there.
Yeah, really intense line there.
like he's just coming out and saying it, like he's just throwing his cards on the table.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he is-
he's basically declared like a dirty campaign.
I mean,
Like,
here's the thing, though. That level of arrogance tends to bite you in the ass. Jacques may have a lot of money to back him up, but being that overt is not a smart thing to do.
Well, I don't know that Ironwood had any illusion about like how happy Jacques was with the situation, right? I
No.
don't think this comes as a surprise to him.
No, but
No.
we did not know how that Jacques was going to use this specific moment against him. And now we do,
Yeah.
because he openly said, "Thank you for handing me the noose to hang you with." Well, now Iron Daddy knows, hey, he's going to try and use this moment against me. I better be prepared for countering that particular argument. That's not something you want to necessarily announce.
I don't know though, because Ironwood's kind of, his whole thing is like, oh, people don't like the things I'm doing. They'll get over it. I'm just gonna keep doing them. Like he's not very reactive in that sense. So
Yeah.
I wonder if, if Jacques starts going after him with this whole eminent domain thing. Oh, he took my mind for some top secret. What's he doing there? Who knows? It could be anything, and he'll seize your property too. Ironwood might just be like, that's not true.
Yeah.
Like, but he also, like, Ironwood also makes a point to state that, like, he does not care about his image. Like, he's got bigger things. He's got bigger fish to fry.
Well, he might want to start caring.
Yeah, maybe maybe just a little bit, because like there's definitely some forces working against him here. Now, and then after Jacques leaves,
Brian, I want you to read my note. I know you're looking at it. I want you to read my note right here.
Winter showing up 5 minutes late with Schneebucks. she just like shows up like, what I miss.
she straight up. I need to talk about how iconic Winter is here. She straight up was rolling up in this truck, saw Jacques' ship land, and was like, hold on a second. We gotta wait. Ma'am, you're supposed to be meeting the general. Shh, I know. But I'm not dealing with that asshole.
Basically.
And then just literally rolls up seconds after him.
And then Weiss is just like, oh, you just missed father. And Winter's like, oh, did I? Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry.
no.
Oh, I should have been here.
Winter's like stuffing breadsticks in her purse, like, I gotta go, man. And then suddenly
Penny shows up
Penny
and just drops in the middle of things.
Penny shows up and is the absolutely moe anime character that she is. Now, I actually, because we have Izzy here, I really wanted to ask you, kind of going back a few episodes, and get your thoughts, because obviously, we've talked about it at length, but I wanted to get your thoughts on Penny coming back.
Oh, I was incredibly happy about that. Unfortunately, like, I'm not sure what my actual reaction would have been because it kind of got spoiled for me accidentally.
Oh no!
Before I got the chance to see it. But yeah, I always wondered whether they were gonna do that because, like, when she died, like, they treated it like with such finality, but she's a robot. It seems like fixing her would have been entirely possible.
I've been saying this for years.
And I think we were also talking about it last night. It's like, this is too good. People are too happy. They've brought Penny back just so they can kill her again.
No.
I know.
Like,
it
hurts.
Like, they're gonna take out like the kindly old doctor who fixed her, so that the next time she dies, it's like, no, there's no one left who can bring her back.
Or she's gonna get hacked, like Beau said, and it's gonna be even worse.
Also, can we talk about what's her dad's name?
Pietro.
Geppetto. No.
Yeah, Pietro.
Yeah, Geppetto.
I think that's his last name.
Yeah, no,
right.
Pietro. Can we talk about the fact that Pietro and Maria are like best couple?
Oh my god, they're so cute.
I ship it so hard.
How are you guys seeing them as a couple? He didn't remember her.
And yet they have such chemistry.
Look, we all know this is. You can ship things with Beau logic, right? We all know Beau logic. They looked at each other. It's canon.
It's founded accuracy.
Listen, Brian. Snowbird's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. They breathed in the same direction for more than 2 seconds. It's canon.
They were in the same room at different times.
So in that canon,
They
everybody's been
breathe
sleeping
the
with
same
each other
air. It's
for like
canon.
4 years. What on earth is going on? Because by that logic, everybody in the RWBY canon has slept with each other at least once.
Exactly. That's the best thing about RWBY is you can just ship everyone with everyone.
Not just anyone with anyone, but everyone.
It's like Build-A-Bear but for ships.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So what Beau's basically saying is to incorporate every piece of not safe for work RWBY fan fiction you can imagine, and it's canon. Lovely.
Tina
Oh.
says Brian and Izzy talked for hours. Canon now. It's official.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Oh, how you doing?
Hey.
Oh my god. It's the new ship.
Oh my god.
So actually, there's an important comment I need to address.
Okay.
Ultra Godzilla fan, where is Y's harem? Look, man, Zwei needs more time, and we need Rocket Dog back. Then we can worry
Wise
about
That's
harem
Harem
is
too.
Lamb Girl.
Oh my god.
Okay, that is.
Don't-
We're
That
not.
took it to a whole other. We're not
Yeah.
even. This is like this is like the Pokemon discussion from last night. Like,
We're just gonna.
It's officially gone too far.
We're gonna
It
take
has.
a
You need
quick
to
right
stop.
out of bestiality and back into normalcy.
No, Brizzy. God damn it, Tina. Oh my god.
It's official. You're a couple now. You have a ship name.
Oh no.
I know it.
Katie, we do not speak of Pokemon discussion.
We always speak of the Pokemon discussion, Katie.
What the hell is going on?
But so the thing about it is, they go in and they're like, oh yeah, we have the. Oh, I guess we haven't started yet. I guess we haven't. And then smash cut, they're in the arena. And was I the only one that was like, man, Penny, look, you died right over there.
That's right.
Yeah, no, they're just like, well, I think we all know this place holds a special significance to us, and like I think it was you that were just like, Penny's just over here, like I died here.
Yeah, Penny's just,
What if she
smiling.
goes over and just like sees some debris and picks it up and it's just like, oh, I was wondering what happened to that, and just like
Just jams it back into her skull.
Or maybe she was
Now,
like, "Oh hey, here's where my body was. I should plant a tombstone
Oh,
right in the middle of the stadium."
I wonder, like, half of I had like half a mind, or like to just have the scene be like, wait a minute, like Penny be like, wait a minute, there's another person that isn't here. Where's Pyrrha?
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Oh no.
No, Penny's having a good time. She's bouncing.
I know.
hey guys, look, lays down. I'm Beacon again.
Oh.
Just
Man.
develops a real dark sense of humor about it.
I
Yeah.
That's canon in the abridged.
Outstanding.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
But anyways.
No, I thought it was, no, Penny just bouncing in the background was absolute, like, the most adorable thing about that was not the fact that she was bouncing, it's that Winter puts her hand on her shoulder to just be like, all right, calm down, girl.
And then
I
she's still
need-
like bouncing a
She's
little
still
bit.
Yeah.
moving, just in a
I
different
need
tone.
I need the Winter Penny buddy cop spinoff. Like, please, Katie, can we script this?
No, VR short, let's do
Yes.
it.
Have
Just
fun
Winter
animators
Penny.
making a new model for Penny.
Is Ironwood like the fucking toughest nails police commissioner?
Of course.
And then and then fucking Sun and Neptune show up like junior detective.
Junior detective.
Oh,
It's the
God.
male junior detectives and the Atlas buddy cops.
And what is
Beautiful.
Y there for? An attack dog?
Zwei's the mascot.
There you go.
He has sunglasses too.
Of course. Yes.
so
Detective
Naturally.
Kirito is on the case.
Detective Kirito, Ungrad PD.
Oh my god.
That was my
So,
favorite moment, though, was the bouncing and then just like, and she doesn't even stop. She just bounces a little less intensely.
Yeah, there's no stopping her.
She's just running a little hot, you know.
Man,
Just like her engines.
They definitely seem to have cranked Penny to 11 this season, and I absolutely love it.
Well, I mean,
Mhm.
all
I-
things considered, she didn't get a whole lot of screen time initially to begin with. So like I think it's just that we're actually getting more than just like little snippets here and there of her just being like, "Oh, hello, goodbye," but like actually getting
Salutations.
full on scenes where she's involved in the scene. I feel like that kind of it gave them that little bit of room to just be like, "So how ridiculous is she actually?"
So
Speaking of super ridiculous, we didn't talk about it, but the Nora scene where
oh,
she like,
the
becomes
thunder thighs.
Oh yeah.
Right, yeah, the thunder thighs, and then she's just like posed there, and Ren picks her up like she's a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
It's
Actually,
so cute.
Before even that is just like even at the start of the episode when Jean and Ruby are gushing, the team in the background is actually like peering over them as if they are right behind them, just smaller characters. Did anybody else notice that small touch?
I did notice that,
Oh,
yeah.
that was great.
I
It's-
didn't catch that.
That moment with Ren picking Nora up though made me really laugh because there was a short that we had in the works that's still kind of up in the air whether we're gonna do it. But there was a moment where we had someone sitting in a chair, and because in VR chat, if you sit in a chair, you can like pick up the chair with the person still in it and still be sitting perfectly still. And we had scripted that the person says something, and the other character looks at them, walks over, picks up the chair with them in it, and then just throws it out the window. And so that moment just made me go, "Oh my god, it's just like the VR short."
What was the blooper from filming on one of the shorts? I think it was with Kyle, where he's just like sitting down, and then he goes like, "Later, bitches.
Oh,
I've got
it
a
was
moon to save," and then he
Yeah.
just yeets
It
out
was
of
it was
the
Tekka.
map.
It was Tekka. Because if you're in VR and you sit in a chair and then you try to pick up the chair while you're sitting in it, it causes you to just fly like there's like Gmod rockets on every corner of the chair. And
God.
and Tekka just sat down as Winter and was just like, "So long, gamers. I've got a moon to save," and then just launches up into the air. Who knew? Who knew that Tekka just predicted Volume 7?
Oh
But
man. So
jumping
I've got a real important question for you, Izzy.
Yeah.
Real important question for you.
All right.
White Rose or Nuts and Dolts?
Hmm.
It's a very
Consider
important
carefully.
question.
The
The
fate
answer
of
to
the
this
universe
question may or may not
depends on.
determine your continued existence on this podcast.
Just to make sure, can you clarify which ships those are? Because I'm not super familiar with, I think, Nuts and Dolts.
Nuts and Dolts is Ruby and Penny.
Ruby and Penny are Ruby and Weiss, basically?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Why not both? ¿Por qué no los dos?
Why can't they? Hmm.
This answer is acceptable.
Let's see here. I would say, I think White Rose might be more interesting just because they have very different kinds of energy. Like Ruby
Yes.
and Ruby and Penny are fantastic, but it's just an echo chamber of energy.
That's fair. That is probably the one argument I would agree with against Nuts and Dolts.
But
I think that'd be
fantastic to
super
watch.
cute though, because then every once in a while their teammates would be trying to get away from them because it's just like they're too much of a power couple. Like it's too powerful, too much energy.
Ruby becomes a team of 4 to a team of 5.
But it'd be perfect though, right? Because like Penny is just always raring to go, and Ruby is also just like, "Let's go on missions, guys. Let's go on missions."
I think that's a recipe for disaster.
That's why
Yeah.
they make such good friends.
Man, the fucking chat is like polarized. People are like, "White Rose, no." Fucking
be
Nuts and
clear-
Dolts are death.
To be clear, I think they're both fantastic ships. I just arbitrarily picked one.
Remember, Izzy. It's Build-A-Bear, but for ships. Just
All are valid.
Are you ready
All
to
are
check out
valid.
now, sir? That'll be 1 Ruby Rose and 1 Weichni for the total cost of your soul.
Yep.
Man. So,
But-
but yeah, so a big.
Wait,
big...
hold on just a second. I just noticed.
Hmm.
White Rose, nuts and bolts. It doesn't matter because either way, Katie wins.
That's true.
That's why she can't pick because she loves them both. Wait,
Oh, so good.
What's the ship name between Tina and Katie?
Tatey. They're Tatey thoughts.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Tatey thoughts. That's their name.
I'm going into retirement.
Oh
I
my
like Pity better.
Oh man.
Oh no. I'm
So off
sorry.
the
I'm
rails.
sorry. Off the
You ain't
rails.
sorry for nothing. Don't lie. Don't lie to these
You're
good people.
right.
Don't apologize.
So we have a really big thing happen though.
Mm-hmm.
They get their huntsman licenses.
Yes,
Which
they
I was
do.
right about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now here's my question about getting their huntsman licenses, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going on here? Because I know that we've been speculating for quite a while about whether or not Ironwood is doing these things to kind of get
Gain some
in Team
points.
RWBY's favor,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
do you
Giving
think
them their
do you think-
licenses,
do you
pretty
think
good way
that,
to do that.
do you think that this is a ploy to kind of like gain more of their favor, or do you think he's actually just like, no, we need huntsmen and huntresses?
I think personally, I can see where people might think that it's a ploy. I think that, and like even the characters say like, oh, this kind of just feels trivial, like it feels like a formality. But realistically, let's look at it like this: like they didn't have, and we talked about this in the group yesterday. Is I think that it was a matter of like, hey, so now you kind of don't really need to be escorted around to do the things you need to do, like the stuff that you were already doing. You now can do without necessarily being escorted by someone. Because it
And
was
nobody
like,
with
oh,
a
if
fishing
they-
rod is gonna come and
Yeah,
after you.
exactly. Because that was one of the things they got arrested for initially was unauthorized weapon usage by unlicensed huntsmen. That was one of the
Mhm.
things that they got arrested for. So now that they are licensed, they're able to kind of move around at whatever pace they need and have the authorization that they need to be able to do all the stuff necessary.
Was that a rule, unauthorized weapon usage?
I think that's one of the things.
It
Yeah.
was it was one of the things that Clover listed when it was like, oh yeah, we got a notification of an unauthorized landing, and then use of unauthorized weapons by unlicensed huntsmen is what it
Gotcha.
says.
Okay. I always get confused on that because last season we came onto RWBY immediately following My Hero. And then when Team RWBY started using their semblances, I was like, wait, no, they can't do that. That's not legal. No, wait, no.
It's not allowed in Japan.
Shit.
Oh wait.
Question for you guys, actually. You probably talked about it in a previous podcast, but do you think that Ironwood knows Ruby's lying about all that stuff she kept from him?
You know, we talked about Ironwood's plan and Ruby's decision to not be honest with him. But I don't know that we've actually had that discussion about whether or not Ironwood actually thinks that that he's being lied to, or that he's not being told the whole truth.
Because if he does think he's being lied to, then all that stuff with like the licenses and giving back the relic might be kind of like getting in good so that she is honest.
I think
Mhm.
I
think that he
that's like
suspects that there's information being withheld. But like Crow says
Yeah.
in a minute is, she's withholding information until people prove themselves. She's not just
Mhm.
withholding information just for the sake of, hey, you don't know everything.
You hear that, Annika? Ozpin did something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And somewhere
Burns.
in New York, Annika is just like gets a chill up her spine and is just like, I feel like Brian's talking shit.
I mean, she knows
But-
better by now. She knows he is talking shit.
Yeah, but I think that he does suspect that there's information being withheld. I think that him again, like that's how I feel about him making them huntresses and huntsmen, is that they're now able to kind of do what they need to do. And I think that he's trying to prove that he can be trusted with the information. And while I do think I wouldn't necessarily blame him for being upset if he finds out that, like, if he genuinely doesn't know, I wouldn't blame him. But on the opposite, to play devil's advocate, on the opposite side of that spectrum, I think that him being a military man and the fact that they have been working very closely with Ozpin to the point of like Ozpin having opened up to them and told them about the relics and everything like that. I think that him being a military man, he would understand the need to know basis in the that they need to determine whether or not he needs to know.
Yeah.
And so I think that he's being patient, and I think that he's really, I feel like the bigger plot twist of this season would be that Ironwood actually can be trusted. Like, because everyone's expecting him to just flip sides and just immediately become this big bad guy and just betray them because he's not being told everything. But I think the bigger plot twist would be finding out that he was the one that they could trust the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I right now I think he may suspect that they're withholding information, but I think he is genuinely a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
definitely something that we said earlier, which is that Ironwood always does what he thinks is best.
His heart's in the right place.
His heart's always in the right
Mhm.
place. And I would say, yeah, I do think that he's wary that they're probably withholding information because, as we know historically,
Mm-hmm.
that Ironwood actually has a really good sense of that kind of stuff, and he's a very cautious man. Hence why he brought the Elysian military to Beacon during the Vital
Mhm.
Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to point out one of Ironwood's lines from Volume 2, which is when he's staring off menacingly into the distance, quote from Glenda. He tells Glenda he feels like Ozpin is keeping them in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And Glenda tells him, you know very well that we're not the ones in the dark. But clearly she was wrong and Ironwood was right. So
Yeah.
I think Ironwood has
Yeah.
a really good sense of when things are being withheld from him.
Well, he
Yeah.
also
Mhm.
kind of, it's a little bit like the way he says, because when Ruby says, "Oh yeah, Osmond told us that all the guesses or all the questions were used up for the relic, right?" And he
Mhm.
says, "Yes, Osmond told us that too."
Yeah.
And the way he says it is kind of like, that's what he told us, but that wasn't the truth. It turns out, like he already knows that there are questions left. Potentially, I think.
Yeah,
He at
it
least
felt that way
suspects
too.
there
Yeah,
are.
that was like a tip off. Like, I already know that there are questions left in that thing, so I know you're lying to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm just wondering. It's just funny because every week I feel like I have to preface this with, it's not the winter in me that's just wanting to like bootlick Ironwood. Like, I genuinely trust Ironwood.
Lies.
Yeah, I don't know. I really feel like, because he ended up being right. Like, he ended up being right that there was something that was going to happen at the festival.
Mhm.
And like,
Mhm.
I still would argue, like, yeah, he brought all of the robots that got hacked and whatnot. Wasn't his fault that everything got hacked, though. Like, to be fair,
I mean, better network security would have been great, but
better network security. But the thing is that they had no reason to suspect that network security was down because Watts worked for them when he made it.
I
So
mean,
like, why would they suspect
There
that
was
there was
an
anything wrong with it?
insider.
to be fair, like it was the Elysian police who was guarding the CCT, right? And
Yeah.
it was this Elysian police that got their ass kicked in by Cinder.
Yeah.
Also, they probably should have known that something was up when a girl dressed in all black and a mask walked in.
Yeah,
That
but
seems
my
ridiculous.
But here's the thing, right? She makes it into the CCT, and Ruby even chases after her, but Cinder gets away, right?
Mhm.
So there's been a breach into the CCT. They got past the Elysian military. I'd say it's a pretty huge blunder to be like, man, the CCT has been breached. We don't need to worry about any hacking, though.
Nope. Our IT guy is on it.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
Bit of an
snoozing,
oversight.
yeah, a bit of an oversight. But my argument is that yeah, he brought all the military there, and Ozpin had his qualms with it and whatnot. But realistically, I don't think as many people that did survive the fall of Beacon, I don't think they would have survived if not for all of the Elysian soldiers that they did have there. Like, I think that having that increased security, despite the fact that all the robots got hacked, I think that it still helped them more than it hurt them. Personally, because they wouldn't have had all of those people there to help with the evacuations, to help with with transporting them, because they had all the ships to help transport them and whatnot.
Mhm.
that is fair. Now
So yeah, that's my
I
thought.
have to now. So after they get their licenses, they have a party in which
Well,
there's
hang on.
cake.
One
Okay.
more comment on that, on the whole Ironwood trustworthy thing
Okay.
that I thought of a little earlier while we were talking about Jacques, right? Because Jacques throws down in this episode. He's like, "I'm taking you on," right?
Mhm.
And what does that mean? Well, worst case scenario, right? We know that there's this political election. Jacques, on the he's running for some sort of presumably a council seat, right?
Yep.
Is that how?
Yep,
Yeah.
he's running for
Do
the
we
council.
know confirmed he's running for a council seat?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
running for a council seat.
Mhm.
So we don't really know a lot about how this election process works. We don't know, how Ironwood became the head of the school, how he gets 2 seats, probably because he's the head of the school, and that makes him the head of the military and everything. I think worst case scenario, what if Jacques steps into that role? What if Jacques takes over the council and kicks Ironwood out of his spot as top leader of the school, taking
That-
2 seats on the council and taking control of the military?
That could explain the imagery in the opening where the image switches from Ironwood to Jacques.
Right. That's actually, I hadn't thought of it like that. I thought it was more like the people see Jacques behind Ironwood's actions, like they think that they're in cahoots. But you could be right. It could be a switch.
Yeah, but I don't think that I agree that I think him having the 2 seats. We don't necessarily know that him having 2 seats means that he's dummy thick and needs 2 chairs. I think that it may be that maybe he has one of the other politicians in his pocket. That
No, I
he basically knows that he has someone else that he could be like, yo, vote this way, and they will.
I think it was stated, I don't know when. I think it was stated early on that he literally just has his vote counts for 2 because he's the head of the school.
Well,
And-
regardless, if he gets that because he's the head of the school, Jacques making it into the council, because Jacques not running against Ironwood, he's running against Robin, and they're vying
Right.
for 1 singular seat, as far as I know. And so Jacques getting into the council wouldn't automatically make him the head of the military, the head of the school, and get him those
No,
2 seats.
It wouldn't. But if he gets a spot on the council, again, we don't know how the council works, but what if it's just a simple majority vote of the council members who becomes the head? They're all in Ironwood's, pocket right now, but if Jacques joins the council and says, hey, he's seizing my property, he's costing me money, if he starts bribing people, appealing to their sense of, fear that Ironwood
this
is
is
being
why
a dictator.
rich people shouldn't be involved in politics, right, guys?
Yeah,
not to
I
be
think,
not to be too on the
Rude.
nose or anything, but
yeah. But I think that's a place this could go to, and that would
I can
be
see that.
Jacques taking over the Atlas military would not be good for anyone.
Yeah, I don't think
No.
so either. Because then, what if he does take over the council and they've launched the satellite? he could now essentially control the flow of information around the world.
And if you don't think he would absolutely take advantage of that, you're
Especially like, who knows, he could probably order a strike on the other CCT towers, so only the Amity Coliseum is the one that's available, and he's in control of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it could force, like, it could force people to only listen to the things that he allows to be broadcast. It could force people to have to pay extra money to be able to communicate with people.
And then
if you think Ironwood is
And then
playing a dictator now, just wait till Jacques gets his hands on the the reins of power.
Mr. EM in the chat goes World War II, World War II, World War II. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's like taking control of. That's like some Joseph Goebbels like shit from the propaganda minister in Nazi Germany.
And at that point, it's a matter of picking the lesser of two evils, and I think Ironwood is definitely the lesser of two evils.
Oh yeah, well compared to Jacques, yeah.
Especially, and this is before we get to the very last scene of the episode, but now it's like, well,
like
if
how
you
deep
weren't,
oh sorry.
yeah, well, yeah, no, it's fine. It's just like how, which are you willing to side with? Because one side's gonna be like they're using the control to protect people, and then the other side's gonna be they're using the control to manipulate and control them, like take away their freedoms. Because like, and I know that we're kind of skipping ahead, but like that whole you can have your cake and eat it too is right before that. Jacques says like, I would fire every one of the Mantle employees if I didn't need their votes. So I'm thinking Watts is gonna boost Jacques' votes and then allow Jacques to lay off all of the Mantle people.
I think what he might do, not to get too close to reality, is hack the electoral, not the electoral, but like the voting system.
Yeah.
Not to get too into reality, but hack the electrical college, which Atlas doesn't have.
I totally dipped
imitates
into
life,
American
man.
politics there because that's what I'm used to. But like, no, we're probably talking like a straight, like people's vote, no in between parties. So yeah, we're just gonna steer back into fantasy now.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I mean,
like
we've seen the bad guys do this before. They were mixing and matching who they wanted to fight in the Vital Festival, right?
Yes,
Like,
they were.
you're gonna fight you, and robot versus magnetism.
the randomization process has begun. Yeah, randomization.
Oh yeah, super random.
So now I want to talk about the single most important part of this episode.
The Bumblebee selfie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that actually what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, the Bumblebee selfie has probably become my single favorite meme to ever come out of the RWBY fandom. It's amazing. If you have not seen the Bumblebee selfie memes, go do yourself a favor and look them up.
Go do your selfie a favor.
Oh, God.
Get out.
It's okay, it hurts me too.
No, don't lie.
I don't believe you.
I love the pain. It's so good. It hurts so good.
Now, this is the next big question I've got for you. Now, for the first time, we had an actual conversation about Summer, and we learned almost jack.
Nothing.
Well, what we did learn is that Crow was probably not personally responsible for Winter's lack of return because he wasn't there, or at least so he says.
True.
And I don't think
You mean
he'd lie
Summer?
about it.
Summers, yes.
Yeah.
The other season.
The other season.
It's okay. There's 4 of them. It's confusing. I know.
Yes, I know. But yeah, it's at least that he's probably not responsible for Summer's death.
Yeah.
Well, that spoils my theory. So.
Yeah, that spoils a lot of people's
That
theory.
spoils like the basic theory that everybody's had since we found out what Crow's semblance was.
Yeah, basically.
Boy. By the way, Izzy, I gotta ask you, what was your reaction to to learning Crow's semblance, because when I learned Crow's semblance, I was like, shit, dude, that blows. That's like the worst semblance you can have.
Like, that's rough, buddy.
This
like, how do you make use of that at all? It's just a detriment. Unless you get really lucky, which seems to go counter to the entire thing.
Yeah, his whole thing is that he isn't lucky.
Yeah.
But so aren't his enemies. So
Well, right. He says
he's just got to be
that
a
it's
bit
good
more
for
lucky
fighting,
than
'cause-
his enemies, and that's it. And he's
Yeah.
used to being in bad luck all the time. They're not.
Yeah.
He's always stubbing his toe on the edge of things, like bumping his shins into tables. You know, that's.
I would not want to see Crow's monthly medical bills.
I think I have noticed he started to like stand up straighter nowadays.
He is.
Yeah.
Now that
Yeah.
he's
He's
no
less-
longer an active alcoholic.
Yeah.
He's got less of the crow posture going on.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
He's
he's
doing a
not
little
slouched
better.
over anymore. Yeah.
I really gotta say, I love Jason's performance in this scene. Like, I really loved how soft he was with RWBY and just being a genuinely good uncle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
uncle,
was-
yes.
It was such a sweet. Listen, they've been so adamant about him not being like. I feel like this scene would have been a perfect moment to imply it, if anything, because he has the moment of like it. It was like me, your mom and your dad. Like there was no hesitation. There was nothing. Like if he was
Mhm.
actually her dad and wanted her to know it, he would have like hesitated on the word your dad.
Maybe he doesn't
know,
want her to
like-
know.
Maybe he doesn't want her to know, but like I mean, if they never confirm one way or the other in the show, I guess you could just headcanon that he was her dad and he just never wanted it known and she just never fucking found out.
Okay, at some point they would have to. Yes, they would actually have to address that. But
Yeah, but
yeah.
I think
I don't buy it. I still think.
up until this scene, I honestly really still genuinely kind of believed it, but this one kind of really solidified me closing the door on that theory.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
'cause I
Although,
really-
I mean, Miles and Carrie have closed the door on the Crow is Ruby's actual dad theory for a long time.
I think I really
They just don't want us to know.
I've never
Really-
heard of that theory.
the really big thing about RWBY as a show is family is what you make of it. That's like the overarching theme for me anyways, that like the whole scene with Weiss earlier is like, oh, these are the
Mhm.
friends you left, not friends, family.
Mhm.
Like, and then the fact that it's like realistically, like, and I only say this because I've had friends that had issues like this, is that like technically speaking, Ruby and Yang are only half sisters. And I've had people that I know that have half siblings really kind of resent their half sibling because they're from someone that's not necessarily part of the family anymore, or like they're the odd one out or whatever have you. And then the fact that Crow seemingly has been a better parental figure to RWBY than even Ty has been necessarily, because he's the one that she based her weapon off of. He's the one that she really admires, that taught her at Signal. Like, and I think it's really important that this message that RWBY's trying to convey, at least in my opinion, again, that you don't necessarily have to be like, first like blood related full siblings or like be a parent or whatever. Like a family can be, a dysfunctional drunk uncle, like, and like, your
With a
half
cool scythe.
siblings. Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's really cool that they have these really strong familial bonds, either with with Uncle Crow and then with their team. I think
Yeah.
that's a really cool thing that they're going for there.
Yeah.
No, I
Now,
would
I
agree
have
with that.
Ultra Godzilla fan has a really interesting question. He says,
Mhm.
"Who thinks Summer faked her death so she won't have to fight in Oz's pointless war?"
That would
Hmm.
suck, in my opinion.
That'd be incredibly sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You abandoned your daughter just so that you wouldn't have to fight in a war? I'm sorry,
Man,
but that
the-
just doesn't.
I mean-
that doesn't.
Man,
I mean,
man,
a war,
the
a war
Rose
you know you
fight,
can't
the
win.
man,
to be fair.
the Rose Xiaolong girls just don't have it good with moms in that case.
Yeah. So I had mentioned this in the group yesterday, is that I think it would be really interesting for Raven and Summer to have been opposite ends of the spectrum in the sense of why they might have abandoned their kids, in that Raven abandoned Yang because she was selfish and because she didn't want that responsibility and whatnot. I think if Summer is still alive and has been actively staying away, I think that she abandoned her to protect her and to continue doing her duties without having to worry about, I need to do this so I can go home. I need to do this so I can go home. She did it so she could focus on her duties no matter the cost.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, maybe.
and I think that so essentially she abandoned her to be selfless, to
That
be
would
able
be
to go
better.
and do what is necessary.
Yeah.
Well, Crow does call her the best of us in this scene. So
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does.
speaking of Team Stark, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she did.
Probably.
You
I think
know,
she did because
James
because
Deere,
there's this
though.
show follows so many anime tropes, and we all know that the dead mom anime trope is like the most prevalent one of all.
Yeah,
Everybody's got a dead
that's
mom.
fair. I think that I think that James's theory, every season that goes by, now that I think about it, I think James's theory of Ruby's gonna hit a low point, especially, it was less believable last season. I mean, other than the apathy episode, where it's like it's really hard to imagine Ruby hitting a low point, but considering in this conversation she says, I'm trying to do what I think is best, but I really can't tell if what's best is what's right, or if I'm any different from Oz. She's really hitting that self-doubt right now. She's really questioning whether she's doing the right thing or not. And I think that it's going to continue to be this struggle that she's going to keep like dealing with, and it's going to reach a point where she's going to have the relic and be like, how did my mom die? And Jin's going to say, I can't answer questions about things that haven't happened yet.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Also you just wasted your last question. Good job.
Yeah, thank you for dooming the world to eternal misery.
I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Was it like 100 years for the next one?
Say goodbye to Colleen Clinkenbeard, everyone.
Oof. I mean,
Hey,
we don't know
at
if
least
she
you still
what
have
it,
Elizabeth Maxwell.
yes, thank God. I mean, we don't know. Like, what if it's used all the questions and it's just like Jin, and she just comes out and she's just like, that I can't answer any questions. It's like, oh, I know. I just want to know if you wanted to do some shots or something. We don't know that
Cool,
she
I want to
can't
hang out.
And she's just like, oh, no one's ever asked me that before.
No one ever thought of that before. Oh, I'll give you an extra
Well,
question.
here's the last question to ask. You want to do some shots?
And
This
she just
can
goes,
only go
yes,
poorly.
I do, and then just disappears.
Yes, and then
She can't do shots, but she wants to.
Oh, that's so sad.
worst question ever.
Of all time. So also there are mission boards.
Oh yeah, mission boards are back.
Mission
So-
boards.
Can we talk about my favorite RWBY line to date,
Uh-oh.
which is her coming and fangirling over the mission boards and then
Yeah.
putting her hood up and going, "Do I get to go undercover?"
She puts on like a fake French sounding accent too.
I was like,
Yeah.
I can't believe Tina is just canon Ruby now.
yeah, right.
Because they already
That's
gave
exactly something Tina's RWBY would do.
they already gave Ruby the one shot, one pill line from
No.
TV. Like, Ruby is just Widowmaker. Like, that's
Oh no.
do we get to go undercover?
Wait, she's Widowmaker in the sense that is a sniper can't hit anything with her sniper rifle? Is that
She hits and then I fired and then I missed.
Man. So we've already talked a little bit about the last scene with Watts, which was definitely setting up some shit.
Mhm.
Now I kind of want to pose Oh, Tina's screaming at you, Beau.
I know she is. I'm ignoring her. I acknowledge the council's decision, but given it's a stupid ass decision, I've elected to ignore it.
Yikes.
Ironwood at the entire council.
Come at me.
But yeah, so this also seemed to be just more setup. As we kind of come into the end of the episode here. And I'm definitely really interested to see some things getting moving. I really want to see more villains. What are y'all's predictions? What are you thinking? What do you want to see?
Really want to see more Watson Tyrion. I like their style.
Yeah.
There's too much mustache in that scene.
Yeah,
There's not enough mustache. You go to hell.
Oh God. Okay. Guess I'll go to hell. It's just funny because talking about Watson and Jacques is the fact that like Cole does impressions of both of them, and he's just like, I want to be Jacques, I want to be Watts, and it's like, no, you have to choose. You can only have one mustache, Cole. There's too much power.
It's
have a
crazy 'cause,
mustache on top of a mustache.
he can do so many of the villains. Like he can easily do Watts. He can easily do Jacques. He can easily do Hazel. It's like he can be all of the villains.
It's just Cole talking to himself.
Yeah, Cole is gonna become the next star.
Yeah.
So, in the vein of a serious prediction, I think Penny's gonna die on Amity Tower again.
No,
God.
no, don't
Making
say
sure
these
that
things.
the Colosseum actually makes it to orbit or whatever height they're putting it at.
Yeah.
No, Penny can't. You can't bring her back and then kill her again. That's not fair.
So I
I'm
actually
sorry,
like
life
double
isn't
jeopardy.
fair, Forrest.
I know that we've actually talked about this on the podcast before, but I wanted to pose this question to Yamato. One of the observations that I made very early on was this season seems to be a lot more lighthearted than the previous few seasons. Do you think that is a sign of things to come?
I think there's a very good chance they're setting us up for a fall. On the other hand,
remember, Volume 2 was really lighthearted.
It's true. It could very easily stay lighthearted, but I'm very paranoid.
I mean, it's lighthearted in the sense that, like Tyrion's busy murdering people in pools of blood over there. But,
It's true.
besides that...
This is probably the most cartoony the show has ever been.
I kind of
With
like
all
it.
the anime moments, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The cartoony animation is just getting beautiful.
I know.
Yes.
The stretch and skew, I think is what it's called.
Stretch and squash, yeah.
Oh yeah, there
Wash
you go.
and stretch.
Like
Yeah.
fucking Yang's disembodied hand as she slid in for the selfie. And... all that.
And yet-
Star has a whole album of different like screenshots of that shit.
I know. Like
Yeah.
Star is the master of cursed images.
She is. But you
Aw.
just can't stop looking at them.
I know. And that's like my profile picture that I've had since I joined KRWBY is one of hers, which is the Noseless Neptune.
Mhm.
She has a whole album of noseless RWBY characters.
She does.
What
It's
the
pretty
hell?
spectacular. The Ilya one is really funny because she edited her eyes to be like facing different ways like a chameleon.
Oh no!
It's the
Oh my-
greatest thing ever.
That's good.
What a nightmare.
It is a nightmare. I love it.
But yeah, Forrest, predictions?
Predictions. Well, obviously, I was talking about this before we went live, but obviously that spherical ice cube in Jacques' drink is that means something. I don't know what, but it's important. I'm telling you right now.
That's just a sign. That's just such a great sense of his like douchebaggery.
Well,
Fuck
that's
you, I
not.
have spherical ice cubes.
That's what I thought. I thought it was like, oh, I'm so cool. My ice cubes are spherical, but then Beau was just like, it's probably easier to animate.
Well, okay, so here's the thing about that specifically. So I was watching the scene, and you hear the sound of the ice cube clinking around, but it doesn't actually move in the glass.
Yeah,
It's
I'm looking at it
frozen.
now. It doesn't. It just kind of stays there.
And so I was just kind of like, huh. Okay.
It's a sign. It means something.
I believe like spherical ice cubes are considered to be like a classy thing.
They are.
They are a
Are
very
they?
classy thing. In fact, I don't even think that's an ice cube. I think that's a dust crystal in there.
I want to say it was Bernie was talking on the podcast like a year ago or something. It is either Bernie or Gus. I'm pretty sure it was Bernie though. That he was like practicing and like trying to make spherical ice cubes. Like
the
is
amount
this a
that,
reference?
the
That's
amount
like
that the
it's
patent
such
for
a.
that thing was ludicrous for spherical
I think
ice
it
cubes.
was. I think it was a. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was Bernie because that seems like a Bernie thing to do. Like him and his Tesla.
You mean the Halo 1
Puma?
Warthog?
Warthog.
Yeah.
The Halo 1 Puma.
The Puma. Stop making up animal.
Ah, Jesus, there it is.
Oh,
No.
make it
Oh,
stop!
God, why?
for the audience in context, Beau just sent in our chat the noseless Ilya.
Oh no.
It's haunting.
It's magnificent. I love her. She's so valid.
But yeah, for real predictions. I'm gonna go. You know what? We were talking about. I keep bringing up Ironwood, right? So we saw in a previous scene, right, where he kind of awkwardly hugs Crow, and we were all like, okay, that's he's putting a bug on him, right? Like that's gotta be. Well, if he did put a bug on Crow, and Crow's been wearing the same outfit, they went on the mission, then they came back, they went to the scene, he hasn't changed. Then Ironwood overheard that whole conversation between Crow and Ruby about them keeping secrets from Ironwood.
Ooh.
That's the point.
So he knows. Is what I'm saying. He knows they're keeping stuff from him, and he knows specifically because they say, "Oh, hey, maybe we should tell him about Salem being immortal and stuff." Kind of puts a damper on his plan to kill her, right?
Yeah.
So I think he knows, and there may be a confrontation in the next episode where he, makes that known to them.
My prediction is that next episode we're gonna meet Robin.
That would be nice.
I like that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they still got to set her up more.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've done. I mean, they killed me off, and then and then all of the they've had talk about framing Ironwood now. So I think, yeah.
You know why? Do you know why Forrest got killed off?
He spoke
Because
out
I knew
against
too
Ironwood?
much.
No, because he couldn't run.
Oh!
God. How did I not see that coming? All my life, Brian. All my life.
I know. That's why I do it to you, because I know you've heard it all your life.
How could
Anytime I move
specifically
faster than
remember-
a walking pace.
I specifically remember back, like when we were much younger, like high school age, like there was one vacation we went on where you specifically told me that when you meet people, there was like a good 1 out of 10 chance that somebody would say to you, "Oh, you're Forrest. Do you run?"
Yes, that's the 1 in 10 chance, and then if the 4 out of 10 chance is they say, "Oh, like Forrest Gump."
I mean, I suppose it's not the worst thing in the world to be associated with Tom Hanks.
I mean, it's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a good
Yeah.
movie.
Good actor.
Good actor and a good movie.
Tom Hanks is like the least controversial actor ever.
He's universally good, universally liked.
Yeah.
Never heard a bad thing about him.
Has everybody offered their predictions?
I haven't really. I think that keeping aside the fact that I've already read the episode description and know the thumbnail and the runtime, which I'm excited for the runtime though.
Oh yeah.
It's a 20-minute episode.
Ooh,
hell yeah.
Finally breaking away from the 18 minutes.
2 more minutes.
It's
All
technically
right.
it's 19 minutes and 58 seconds, but
God,
still.
That's like saying 24:02. Just round up
Yeah.
or round down, whichever's closer.
$9.99. It's $10.
But going off of not anything that I don't know about that is I think next episode's gonna be the Tales from Bossing Say episode, where we see all of them kind of split up doing odd jobs.
because
and
the
I
message
think-
board thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
True.
And
That's
so
a good
I
point.
think it'll give us a really good chance for to see a couple of the girls, because like as much as I love that we've seen them all basically together the whole time, I want to kind of see them off on their own or off in pairs and whatnot now. And I think that if we split the party up a bit, it gives us a chance as the audience to have a couple of the characters be involved in maybe like an escort mission or like security detail for someone that has to do with the political stuff going on, and then get some more development on that and move the plot along through just a couple of their perspectives rather than needing to have all like 10 of them there.
The whole team. Yeah, I mean they are
What-
kind of big as a
What
team.
the
at
fuck
this
are you
point.
doing in the chat, Tara? That's my roommates in the chat right now. You can walk in the room.
Do it, Terry. You won't.
But yeah, that's I hear her
do-
like barely in the distance.
Mhm.
Do you think that's how they're gonna meet Robin and the Happy Huntresses? Maybe.
I
That-
would
I-
expect
I
so.
can't answer that question.
So that's
Confirmed.
a- okay.
There you go. You should
Yeah,
have
that
just
could
not
be-
said
that could be
anything.
real- I think it's so funny, like it's like, oh, how the tables have turned, right? Because like back in volume 4, we were just like, man, let's just get everybody back together. Like we want Team RWBY back together, and now we're like, actually, like let's split them up. It's like
There's
you know,
just too many.
it's too
I mean,
many.
to be fair, we have 4 members of Team RWBY, 3 members of Junior. We have Crow. We have Penny. We have 5 members of the. We got a lot of people. Like.
I like, what was it your recommendation, Beau, that like just have Penny join Team Junior and then it's Team Juniper again?
Yeah.
Yay.
Aw.
Yeah, that was my thing. Prediction for episode 5: real thirsty moms. Yep.
That's right.
We still
That's
need
right.
the thirsty moms.
I forgot about that. I'm excited. Do you know about that, Izzy?
No.
So,
Sounds worried.
so in on one of the panels that they did, it was at like
It was
at
RTX.
NYC?
No, it was RTX.
Oh, is it RTX?
Mhm.
People like they were teasing stuff about Volume 7, and then Miles was like, "Well, I have 3 words for this next season: real thirsty moms."
Well, and then
What?
at NYCC, he expanded on it and said, "Man, there's a moment with Jean coming up this volume that's just it has the real thirsty moms," and I'm like, "Oh, God,
no. Not with that
Interesting.
haircut, please.
no, not with that haircut, not no, please."
Oh, Sad.
Oh, Jean, what have they done to you?
intriguing.
Our sweet innocent Jean.
He's a good boy.
Good boy. So yeah, is that all our predictions?
Any-
I'm not sure about a prediction, but I'm curious about like, because it seems like with that last scene with Watts coming in,
Mhm.
it seems like Tyrion and Watts really want Jacques to win that council seat. But I'm
Yeah.
curious what you guys think, like what specifically they might get out of that.
I mean,
Well, I mean-
the CEO of the Schnee Dust Company on their side, like
Yeah.
unlimited
Yeah.
resources, essentially.
Oh yeah, just like I'm curious, like to what end do you think what form
mean,
that'll take?
Well,
So
Like,
the
I was
man
talking
has
about
no
earlier.
scruples. Like he has none. No
yeah, like
scruples.
he's very
So,
easy to work with for some evil end.
Yeah,
they're two of a kind. Those guys.
I had we talked slightly about this, or at least I talked slightly about this on one of the previous episodes of the podcast, where I said, you know, if they had Jacques on their side from the get-go, they wouldn't have had to steal all that dust, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
True.
now, so having the largest producer of dust products on their side is definitely a huge win. Also, having a bunch of money that they can use to carry out their evil schemes, and if they can dislodge somebody, like there's no way they're gonna turn Ironwood, and also they don't want to like necessarily screw with Ironwood that much because Ironwood, he's got the military. So like Ironwood actually has
Whoa.
the ability to fight back. Jacques doesn't. He's a man of power, but he doesn't have military power to fight back against force. So if they come in,
So give him an army.
And
Right.
and here's the thing too, is we see in the opening that Tyrion is going after Robin.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
True, yeah. We see them fighting.
yeah, because he's been going after and killing people that oppose Ironwood and making it seem like Ironwood is taking out Robin's people.
campaign people.
Yeah, by
Her rock
going
throwers.
after her
Yeah,
and
they're rock throwers.
by going after Robin and taking her people out and then eventually her out and getting basically guaranteeing that Jacques is on the council. I don't honestly imagine that the disputes between Jacques and Ironwood are public knowledge. And so the public
Mhm.
may safely assume that Ironwood may be trying to gain another seat of control by putting Jacques on the council.
Yep.
But because they like he is aware that people don't like him, but he's also not actively wanting to create unrest because
Yeah.
that's going to draw the Grimm there.
Mhm.
And or at least not create unrest before the time is right, because they know
Then he's
that
gonna
it's
make
going to
all the
create
unrest.
unrest. Yeah, then he's going to make all the unrest. But yeah, I think that's going to go real badly for Ironwood and for Robin potentially. I hope that Robin doesn't get killed off before we have a chance. I hope it's not another high waifu by waifu like Sienna was.
At least, okay. To be fair though, she's in the intro, so.
Yeah,
Sienna
she
Khan
is in
wasn't
the
in-
intro.
That's why that whole episode, like when we see her, I'm like, but wait, who's this cool new character? She's not in the intro.
Mhm.
I'm real sad that Lamb waifu isn't in the intro.
Oh my
I
God.
need her to be an important
Whatever,
character.
dude.
Oh my god. What happened?
Who
What
knows?
happened to
Maybe
your
we'll see
your
her.
waifu that walked out that was like a Cammy lookalike from episode 1 with the robot arm? What happened to her?
Oh, she's still there. She's cool.
She's not a lamb.
Watch you threw her away. As soon as
No,
was
but
of
she
no
had
longer
little like
interest to
she had
you.
like little bear ears or like teddy bear ears. Like she had little
No.
rounded ears.
Look, any character that looks like Raftalia makes me weak. All right.
Oh my god. Best
It's
girl.
fair. That's a fair thing.
Raftalia is just best girl overall. few can compete for that title. Oh god.
But yeah. So cool. Is that everything?
I believe so.
I believe, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
So I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up now. We've been going for about an hour and 40 minutes. I can't believe we stretched this episode out that long.
Stretch?
I mean,
feel
it
like we
was a
compressed
fun
it.
episode though.
Yeah.
Yeah, some stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so thank y'all for tuning in, and we hope you had a good time. Yamato, where can they find you?
You can look for Something Witty Entertainment on YouTube. You can also look for Something Witty Gaming. That's our like Twitch stream stuff, either on Twitch or we archive all of our Twitch streams on our Something Witty Gaming YouTube page.
Hell
Nice.
yeah. If you have not checked out Sword Art Online Abridged, do yourself a favor, go watch Sword Art Online Abridged.
It's amazing.
It's real good.
Oh man.
They're lying to you.
We're
Run.
not.
Yeah, no,
Too
if you're-
late now.
SAOA, MHAA, because you're saying you also do My Hero Academia Abridged, or you guys call it Maha, which I love. Yeah, definitely go check that stuff out. It's real funny. You won't regret it. And yeah, and let us know if you want to see more outside KRWBY guests, because I think this is actually the first time we've ever had a guest that was not a member of KRWBY.
Oh,
I
damn,
believe
really?
you are correct, sir.
So
I
Yeah,
feel so
you're the
honored.
Yeah, it was
We are
awesome
honored.
having you.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
you're
so
honored by
much
your
for
presence.
coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm sorry I don't talk more.
We were just glad to have you.
No, it's all good, man.
We
Oh,
just
man,
talk over
there's,
everybody.
There's
That's
the
it.
inevitable question. Are you going to answer it, Izzy? Mr. Moody 99. I love SAO Abridged. And when's the next episode?
Oh,
You
yikes.
got it. It has to be perfect. I'm working on effect shots for it, like right now.
That's why he wasn't talking. He was actually working on it.
Actually working at the same time.
Indeed.
No, that's that's my favorite abridged question. When's the next episode? I'm like, when it's done. Moving on.
Soon,
Yeah.
TM.
TM. Yes.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next week, same time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.